Welcome as people gather, as we gather in this particular time and space we find ourselves in. These particular forms in this particular space at this particular time. And all that shifts. We can collect and recollect, reconnect with that which does connect. This knowing, and giving, this giving. And this breath received and released. And this offering attention and this life, this experience received. And giving ourselves and giving others the time, the opportunity to join and to gather gives it this particularity. It's this time and this space. These few minutes and patience in a moment. It's offering of attention. It's a practice for a few moments, few minutes. a sense of allowing life, a sense of trust and safety in this practice of this. A breath received, released, in this attention and this care, and this knowing. This gathering, this collecting, this recollecting, the whole of the body, the whole of the breath, the whole of life. Given attention, received, released, in the knowing. And it's like this. This universe, this experience, this life, like this. And the trust that allows this knowing. And the trust that allows the coming and going. The awareness is resting, neither coming nor going, and not fixed, time and space, knowing time and space, knowing time and place, knowing here and now, knowing the conventional experience. Today there's people wanting to get in at the back. Today is the 104th anniversary of Luang Por Chah's birth, as far as records show, given what records are. And the blurry image of Luang Por Chah behind me may be artificially blurred, but our memories, at least my memories of Luang Por Chah, are artificially or actually blurred. There's memories like this. It's partial. It's particular. It's incomplete. And it's the nature of perception. And it's always going to be that way. It's perception is incomplete. It's a made-up thing. Sanya, sometimes translated as memory. And there's also a connection with the Thai word to promise. To promise something. And our perceptions are a bit about what we promise ourselves that we want to see. Because we see what we want to see, hear what we want to hear, and simplify to get by. Because it's a strange and confusing experience in this limited form. Knowing time and place. Sometimes that can be concrete, making something concrete. I have to know what to do and having an idea and a plan about what to do. And coming with a fixed expectation, which is how that is. And to say that that's wrong isn't going to help. But to know time and place really is just to know this is time and space. This is the experience of time and space. And the shifting nature of it, of the conditions that come and go in time and space, allows of, the knowing allows of freedom. So time and space is not something that is a trap, but just a recognition. There's a recognition that this is how time and space works. And the knowing of time and space is that which is not in time and space. There's whatever memories and on one side and expectations on the other are not going to be more than just blurred images. And they don't really, that the plans are brought from the past, the hopes and expectations for the future. Are happening in this now. And the memories and the plans and based on those memories and the hopes and projections, they're very blurred. They're not actually what's going to happen. And the memories and the plans based on those memories are partial and incomplete. In the now, there's just this. We're incredibly lucky to have at least as much trust to be able to recognize this, to reconnect with this. That we have the safety to do this now, whenever one is listening or seeing this. If there's that safety enough to do this, we're very, very fortunate. And practice when one can, this knowing, trusting this knowing. The basic confidence that we're safe. Somebody's not trying to attack me. The body is okay. There's enough right now. Not threatened. Right now. We can think about being threatened in the future and all sorts of tragedies that might occur or all sorts of disappointments that might happen. When things don't work out the way that we want them to do. And can't get what we want. Or we feel so bad about what is happening internally or externally. Particularly internally, maybe we feel sick, or we feel depressed, or we feel over-elated, or we feel whatever emotions are going right now. There's just enough trust to stay with the knowing. And we're very fortunate. Very fortunate. Because then this particular time and place, we don't need to personalize. It's just like this. Because for many of us, a lot of the time, a lot of this is actually so confusing that we don't even trust that much. But if we can practice even a moment at a time, just being with this moment, this time, this place. Not trying to get anywhere or to get on or to go back to anything. And not even holding on to this moment, because this moment is just this. And that's conditioned in the time and space, in that which lives in time and space, that which is in time and space. There is no sure refuge. And it's not to dismiss and say, well, that's not real. But it is what it is. It's this limitation. The body's like this. The emotions are like this. The hopes and the fears are like this. The regrets and the pleasant lingering memories are like this. And there's just this fleeting moment. Just this. Around this time, usually at Wat Pong, the monks used to gather around to pay respects to Luang Por Chah. And because it was around before Pansa, they used to try to find out what was going to happen for the Pansa, what was going to happen for the Vasa, and figure out, could they have 5 monks? Because in the Wat Pong tradition, to hold a Katina festival, one of the great festivals celebrating interdependence, you need 5 monks, because there needs to be 1 monk to make an announcement to the Sangha, and a Sangha, the minimum size of a conventional Sangha, Bhikkhu Sangha, is 4. So to have a Katina, you need 5. There are arguments about where you can get them from, but for Wat Pong, it was always, you need 5 monks resident in the same place for the whole of the first 3 months of the rainy season. So there was this gathering at Wat Pong at the time of Ajahn Chah's birthday. Thus have I heard. Again, it's a memory, and it may all be a complete story. But I do remember for my first year as a bhikkhu, just after Upasampada, there was a gathering of some sorts, and one of the monks asked for a Farang monk to come so they could make up 5. I didn't know very much about anything. And I didn't volunteer, but I was told, you're going. So I went to this place, and I was the only Farang monk, and I didn't speak much Thai. And Ajahn Chah didn't spend that Vasa at Wat Pong. He spent it at Tam Sengpet, which is maybe an hour and a quarter away from Wat Pong. And there's a road between Tam Sengpet and Wat Pong. And this road was not far from the front of the monastery where I was staying. And on the alms round for this monastery, the Bindabat route for this monastery, crossed this main road. You'd stand and you'd wait for the cars to come, and then there'd be a break, and you'd walk across, and then you go across, then you go to the village and arms round, and then walk back. And it was a quiet pansa, quiet vasa. The kutis and everything were good enough, or comfortable enough. And I wasn't particularly upset or worried or anything, because I was willing to endure whatever it was. It was a pretty confusing time, not knowing most of what was going on, not knowing the language. But I wasn't tortured or anything, and I wasn't bullied, so I can't complain. It was actually quite nice. And of course, being the Farang monk, I was well looked after, and the Ajahn is a very nice man in some ways, good man. And I remember one alms round, the road between Tam Sang Pret and Wat Pah Pong. Ajahn Chah used to sometimes travel along that road in a minivan or something. And one alms round, I was walking, and I'd stopped waiting for the cars to go past. And I was looking up, and the car with the poor Cha passed by. That brightened my day. I don't know. It was maybe a few seconds, really, between. And I don't know how many times it went up between Tam Sang Pet and Wat Pah Pong, but it couldn't have been many times. And the chances that he was just passing at that time, I don't know. But it was a brightening experience for the day. I don't have any doubt that happened, but I haven't made much of it, because that's just how things are. So, knowing time and place, Ajahn Chah's one of Ajahn Chah's great teachings. It's the, knowing that this is the time, this is the place, this is the ideal solitude. There is only this time. There is only this space. There is only this awareness. And this awareness is not in time and space. It knows time and space. And that's the that's where there's no going backwards into memories, into the plans that come from memories, into the fond remembrances of time past. Oh, what a lovely memory. And there's no going forward into hopes, expectations, fears, worries. There's no going backwards into regret and self-blaming or self-praising. And there's no going forward into grand plans for the future when sometime I will be happy. I will be happy in the future. It means that you're unhappy now and there's no hope then because you're starting from the wrong place. And so it's now where there's no going forward and no going backwards and no standing still. Where there's the possibility of freedom. Because this is the time and space one's got, however it is. And, however grotty it is, if it's good enough, if there's enough safety, if there's enough awareness, then that's where it is. It's already good enough. And working from here is what we've got. And this is given. We can receive this and give attention and release it. Release it from expectation and fear. Release it from pushing and pulling. And not make further problems about it, because this is the only place we can find our real home. Now it's this much. The blurry picture of Luang Por Chah behind me. This is what there is. Fading memories. Not to say there shouldn't be hopes and fears. There shouldn't be regrets or reminiscences, because that's making it an extra complication. I shouldn't have any regrets. I shouldn't have any hopes and fears. I shouldn't make any plans. That's not going to work. Because this is the way that the whole thing does work. This is the nature of a strange and complex personality and a weird meat bag that we carry around and use. It's this is how this human form works in this time, this space. And thinking it shouldn't be this way is an extra complication. But knowing it, the knowing of it, it's not a getting rid of things, and it's not a gaining of anything. And this is just conventional reality. a human being in conventional reality, if it works well, it generates happiness, it generates fearlessness, it trains using the 5 precepts, it trains itself with the Eightfold Path, it trains its assumptions, it trains its aspirations, its volitions, its resolution, its thought, its speech, actions and livelihood, its effort, through everything that it can do and everything that it perceives. It keeps itself within the fields that are safe. The body, the movement, the Vedana, the Chitta, and Dhammas. And with continuity and collectedness and recollection, keeps going, not taking the whole thing too seriously, because that's how it is, and not taking it all too personally, because that's how nature is, that's how this body is. So wishing you well, and if it's been of any help, great. If it's not, never mind, leave it behind. And if there are any questions, we'll come to those about now and see whether I can offer anything further. Thank you. Any questions? Remembering the feeling you had towards it. What about memory of awareness? Yeah, there's sometimes there's the memory of a touching of something that's not personal, and it's actually quite now in the terms of the Buddha, when he was sitting under the tree as a young man, he had an experience that was liberating. And after 6 years of striving, when he was older, between 29 and 35, he remembered that. And that recollection of what he felt when he was 7, supported his liberation. So I'm not saying that memory is somehow wrong or bad. This is what we have. And the memory of a reconnecting with something impersonal, with a knowing that's not me and mine, bound. That is like a touching of something, and don't underestimate it. It's it's precious. Sometimes people are discouraged by others, and I don't feel that that's helpful. Use what memories there are to support. Remember the goodness of your life. I keep saying that. Remember whatever goodness you've done in your life. It's not to say you shouldn't have memories. I'm sorry if that came across like that. But to know memory is memory and use it. I think it's one of the English books that says, remember that, only that which brings you joy. Something like that. So use memory. It's not necessary to forget. And memory of awareness can really help you reconnect in the present. There's a sense of confidence that it can be done. And that's supportive. There's desire that leads to the end of desire, aspiration that leads to the end of aspiration. Desires create dukkha. However, there are some desires we aren't able to let go of. What should we do? Let go of the desires that create more dukkha and stay with the desires that lead to less dukkha. It's tanha is compulsion. Chanda covers more than just compulsion. It covers aspiration. And there are some aspirations that require work. And in that work, there can be stress. But it's worth it. But if it's a desire that's just making you more painful, then you're crawling back to your ball of dung as a dung beetle. You're just going back to the same old. And that's not worth it, is it? Let it go. Technically not. Drinking non-alcoholic beer. Don't offer it to the monks, though. It looks bad. Yep, when there are some things we don't have control over, the best thing to do is to let go of the worries and still try to do as many skillful and good things as possible. Yeah, best you can do. Do the rest. Do the best you can. And leave the karma to Dhamma. I was talking about that today. Using Satipatthana Sati Sampajanya, just being with the body as it walks from one place to the next. Noticing the sense of birth and death. The death as you leave a world, as you leave a room. The birth as you enter a room. The birth and death in every moment. Now use that. Be with the sense of the body and the movement of the body. Birth and death in every breath. Sometimes it's silly. Try to endure some physical unpleasantness in really hot weather without using aircon. Well, if your fan works, that's all right. But don't worry about. No. Be grateful that you do have aircon and you can afford it. Don't turn it up too much. I've been meditating about 5 years and have found myself trying to reach a level of consciousness and focus that I remember having. I remember having this level of consciousness 5 years ago. Within the 5 years when I started meditating, right? Is there a way I can do? Well, you know that if you have expectations of what you're going to get out of your meditation, you're going to have trouble. It is helpful. What I do find helpful, and is sometimes not mentioned in meditation instruction, is at the end of a meditation session, give a little bit of time to just know what's happened, with a sense of not judging it whether it's good or bad, but just like knowing. So it's a sense of just looking in and examining How does that work? Often when the bell goes, oh God, I can stop meditating now. And then there's nothing really happens. You just stop. But give yourself space to, oh, that's what happened. So, using memory to just review lightly what happened. That sometimes can be helpful. And then maybe you can find out more about what has happened. Don't judge it as good or bad, but just, that's how it worked. Then go on. Something I've noticed in myself lately is a pattern of wanting things to be other as they are. Of course. Of course. This is the nature of this limitation, identifying with this limitation. There's always going to be that sense of I need more or I can't cope. And that's the nature of identifying with this limitation, because this limitation is this limitation. So if you take it personally that there's this limitation and I'm here, then there's always going to be this sense of, I don't really like this. And it's not supposed to be otherwise, actually. Because adding to the sense of I don't really like, the sense of I would like things to be different. It's just adding another head on a head, isn't it? Saying I shouldn't think that I want things to be different. It's just making it more complicated. The nature of this limitation is wanting things to be different. Understanding that is a noble way to relate to it. That's all. It's understanding dukkha. The difficulty is when we want to get rid of dukkha. Wrong approach. Practice the Eightfold Path if you want to do anything. Don't try to get rid of dukkha. It's extraordinarily frustrating. It doesn't work. I wish I didn't have any more dukkha. That's the nature of I. There's going to be dukkha. There's going to be I can't. I want things to be other than they are. Careful about, you can aspire, if you don't want to create, if you don't want to create more dukkha, then it's not creating extra dukkha that's the difficulty. And the wanting there not to be dukkha is creating dukkha on dukkha. Can you bring back the beginner's mind? In the beginning of the practice, deep meditation states happen. Is there any way we can bring back this beginner's mind? Well, the book Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind. That was one of the books from the 70s. That's a classic. I do try, in the basic instruction I offer, and in the instruction, the meditation that I offer, to come back to this sense of here and now, and the freshness of this here and now. So however this here and now is, this is how it is. So there's not an extra to it, because this is where the beginner's mind lives, in this moment. Yeah. This is, it's like, it's the way it is, as Ajahn Vajiro says. No, it's not. If it wasn't supposed to be this way, it wouldn't be this way. What's arisen has arisen because of causes and conditions. The causes and conditions are this way. This is the nature of it. Thank you.